Underlords just announced a new insect alliance, and the Outlanders event is coming up soon. So, in preparation for that, let's talk about the Arthropods of the Dota universe. Quick little fun fact, neither of them are an artifact, not even mentioned or pictured in the background. There's only 4 known huge insectoids: Broodmother, Nyx Assassin, Sandking, and Weaver. Let's talk about what they all have in common, then about each of them individually, and lastly speculate what the Outlanders event may include. So Brood and Nyx are both individuals of each their species of the Dota 2 fauna. They possess some supernatural powers like a consciousness and intelligence way beyond most mammals and speech. But Weaver and Sandking are actually not mere animals. They are something different entirely, as we will get back to. I include them here because of the Dota Underlords alliance and because their design is clearly based on huge invertebrates. But just keep in mind that only Nyx Assassin and Broodmother come from a kind of animal you can actually find naturally in the Dota wilderness. Also, there is a 5th kind that I was pondering about whether or not to include in this video, the Umizars. But first of all, they are from a cosmetic and aren't actually a kind we see represented by a hero, so we know very little about them. And second of all, I'd rather include them with the Maranths. That's why I changed this video's title from Arthropods to Bugs, focusing only on insects and arachnids. On my scale, I put Dota bugs in the exact middle because all of them except Sandking are agility heroes and neither of them seem particularly stupid. If anything, they seem highly intelligent. Weaver and Nyx Assassin maybe pulls them closer to the intelligence side, while Brood and Sandking pulls them closer to the strength side. On average, I think the middle is perfect. Black Arachnia, the broodmother, is from the volcanic Mount Pyrotheos. There she raised millions of spiderlings in her subterranean lair, which she sent out to fetch prey in the surrounding world above them. A man by the name of Ptolophthiles thought of an ingenious plan to protect his wealth. He built his ziggurat, which is a sort of temple from old Mesopotamia, on top of Mount Pyrotheos, so he would get natural protection from the thieves by the spiderlings crawling around. The looters and knights that sought his treasure were nutritious for Arachnia's brood, but she also grew worried for her offspring's safety. She went to visit Ptolophthiles to talk about her concerns, but when he didn't want to compromise, she proceeded to wrap him up nicely as a birthday gift for her new young. After his disappearance though, the intruders grew only more numerous, and eventually one of them stepped on one of Broodmother's children. She had had enough and has now surfaced to kill every single possible intruder from the source, instead of just weeding the ones reaching her lair. Nyx Assassin is a zealot scarab. They are a telepathic kind of insect living in a huge hive where they worship and serve their mother queen goddess Nyx. The Nyx Assassin is a chosen one individual graced by the queen, which gets special physical and cognitive abilities. Their purpose is to assassinate anyone their queen may want dead. It is unknown whether or not Nyx is actually a goddess, or if that's just the perception of the hive members. Who knows, it could just be more like a cult where she has convinced all her children that she is divine, but I will save that for my hero-specific video about Nyx Assassin in the future. The previous Nyx Assassin, before the one we have in Dota 2 and soon Underlords, may have been killed by Abaddon. Abaddon and Nyx Assassin absolutely hate each other. I talk about this in my Abaddon video. Crixalis the Sandking is a result of the sentient sands of the scintillient waste becoming personified. His name means soul of the sand, and his design as a scorpion-looking kind of arachnid is inspired by the fauna of the desert, although they are much smaller. Sandking was likely created by the Jinn of couldnt, and he serves as the warrior, ambassador, and guardian of the entire desert biome of the Dota world. He is the only one of the new insect alliance that is already in Underlords, and apparently, he is Gaben's favorite hero. Skitsker the Weaver is the one who created the entire reality of the Dota universe. But before that, he was only one of many weavers whose only job was to maintain the fabric of creation that was already woven. It needs to be cared for constantly, because otherwise terrifying creatures can lay their eggs, whose offspring can devour entire universes. Skitsker was not only one of these caretaking weavers, he was a master weaver. He was assigned one particular patch of the mesh of reality to keep in pristine condition, but over time this work bored Skitsker. The invention had already been done, and he was only left to maintain it. He wanted to create things himself and weave his own vision of reality. He started small, but over time grew bolder and bolder in changing his patch. Eventually, the Guardians had had enough and snipped off his part of reality and got the loom to reweave it without Skitsker in it. Weaver was meant to be tormented by this fate, but the punishment was perfect. He could now weave the reality exactly as he wanted with no one to limit his creativity. Okay, so what does this new insect alliance have to do with the Outlanders update? Well, I have a theory that is about 20% actually probable and 80% gut feeling. But let's go anyways. So, when I heard about the Outlanders event, I immediately thought of an invasion of sorts. And I also saw on Reddit when it first came out that I wasn't the only one, especially because it seems like Void Spirit is here to save the Dota world from a great conflict. The first assumption is, of course, oh, the Radiant and the Dire, the Battle of the Ancients, right? But then why is he only coming now? My theory is that this Outlanders event is a temporary deviation from the regular conflict, and instead we are met with an invasion of an outside threat that will introduce the new heroes and maybe give us a Year Beast or Siltsbreaker kind of game event where we deal with it. This also would make sense of some of Earthshaker's arcana. But what evil could be more threatening than the Battle of the Ancients? Well, remember the creatures from Weaver's lore that lay their eggs in the mesh of reality that can consume entire universes if left unchecked? Yep, you are now thinking what I'm thinking. I was already thinking about this a while ago, and now with the new Insect Alliance, I just don't think it's a coincidence. Now, let's take a look at Spectre's cosmetic items real quick. A gem of wisdom, a polished lens of eldritch insight, a dimension-straddling insect eye. Spectre answers not. A dimension-straddling insect's eye? Interesting. When moving between certain dark angles of creation, it is important that one not be mistaken for prey. These sigils on this headpiece serve as a warning to some interdimensional predator, but an invitation to others less visible. Okay, hold on, what the frick? So there's some kind of cosmic insect that Spectre is afraid of? Also, while watching the new Dark Crystal show based on the old movie, I noticed some similarities between Spectre and the Arathim. They are a sentient kind of arachnids who possess a hive mind known as the Ascendancy. Spectre also talk about ascendancy and transcendency. Like I said, this theory is based on at least 80% gut feeling, but what if the Outlanders event is an invasion of the interdimensional, reality-consuming arachnid Spectre and Weaver talk about? It's up to you to conclude with what you think. I don't know, either way, it's a fun theory. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you around for these upcoming videos. Have a wonderful day. Peace.